The gate arm dropped hard enough to rattle the steel post, and the red scanner light flashed in my face. My keycard had worked at 7:12 that morning. At 7:13, the HOA cut me out of my own neighborhood. The guard booth window slid open, and a man I'd never seen before leaned out with a clipboard and said, "Your access has been revoked by the board." Behind me, 3 cars stacked up at the entrance, horns chirping, engines idling, everybody staring while my truck sat trapped outside the only road to my house. Then I heard the soft electric hum above me. The gate camera had tilted down and locked right onto my face. That was the moment I knew Linda Whitmore had made a very expensive mistake. I held the card up again. Red light. Sharp buzz. No click. No movement. Just the hot smell of sun-baked metal and fresh mulch drifting off the median while the whole front entrance watched me get denied like a trespasser. A white golf cart rolled up along the curb, tires whispering over the concrete. Linda sat behind the wheel in a cream sweater set that probably cost more than my monthly utility bill, sunglasses on, smile in place, one hand resting on a slim leather folder like she was arriving for brunch instead of an ambush. "I told the board you'd make this difficult," she said. Her voice was soft. Her timing was perfect. She wanted witnesses. She got them. Mrs. Carter from Lot 14 stood on the sidewalk with her little dog tucked under one arm. 2 landscapers killed their leaf blowers just to watch. A delivery van backed up at the curb, unable to enter because Linda had turned the front gate into a stage. I looked past her at the keypad housing bolted into the stone pillar. Matte black finish. Dual relays. Magnetic lock override. Same housing I'd installed myself 11 months earlier when the board hired my company to modernize the entry system after a break-in. My name is Nolan Pierce. I'm 38, and for 12 years I've built access control systems for office parks, warehouses, gated communities, and county buildings all over Texas. Gates, badge readers, remote entry, camera integration, fail-safe backups. People like Linda only notice a gate when it doesn't open. People like me know every weak point before the first screw goes in. There has to be some mistake, the guard said, but he didn't sound like he believed it. He kept glancing at Linda for approval before he spoke, which told me everything I needed to know. She wasn't just enforcing a rule. She was running the booth. Linda lifted the folder and gave it a little tap against her knee. Unpaid fines. Repeated non-compliance. Unauthorized modifications to exterior equipment. The board voted unanimously. There it was. Not a warning. Not a letter on the door. Not even the fake courtesy call these people loved when they wanted to sound civilized. She had gone straight for access. Straight for public humiliation. Straight for the one thing that could make a homeowner look powerless in front of the entire community. I leaned out my truck window and looked at the stone wall running along the entrance. New paint. New signage. New camera dome above the visitor lane. Everything polished. Everything expensive. Everything tied into a system Linda did not understand half as well as she thought she did. A little girl in the back seat of the SUV behind me pressed her face to the window. Even she could tell this was bigger than some HOA fine. Linda smiled again, slow this time. "You can park outside and call management on Monday." It was Thursday. I stared at her for a full second, then at the gate motor housing tucked behind the hedge line, and then at the camera still tracking every move I made. She thought she had locked one man out of one neighborhood. She had actually touched the control point for all of Willow Creek Estates. And by the time the sun went down, everyone at that gate was going to understand exactly what that meant. The line of cars behind me grew longer, engines idling, heat rising off the asphalt in slow waves. Someone leaned on their horn, then another answered, sharp and impatient. Linda did not flinch. She sat there like she had already won. I rested my arm on the window frame and looked at the guard again. He avoided eye contact this time. His badge was new. His uniform still creased. He was not part of this community. He was part of her plan. You just started today? I asked. He hesitated, then nodded once. That was enough. Linda replaced the entire front gate staff before cutting my access. Clean move. Fast. Quiet. But rushed. I could see it in the way the secondary camera lagged half a second behind the main feed. That delay was not supposed to exist. I had calibrated both lenses myself. My phone buzzed in my pocket. One short vibration. System notification. I did not take it out yet. Not here. Not with Linda watching my hands. Instead, I leaned back and studied the keypad again. The casing had a fresh scratch near the lower hinge. Someone had opened it recently. Probably maintenance. Or someone trying to override something they did not fully understand. Linda tapped her folder again. If you continue to block the entrance, I will have you towed. There it was. Escalation. Public pressure. Legal tone. All layered on top of a bad decision. A delivery driver stepped out of his van behind me, wiping sweat off his forehead. Ma'am, I got frozen goods back here, he said. Linda did not even turn toward him. She kept her eyes on me. This was personal. That was her second mistake. I reached down and killed my engine. The sudden silence shifted the air. No vibration. No exhaust. Just heat and tension and the low electrical hum of the gate motor cycling idle. The entire entrance paused with me. Linda's smile flickered. Just for a second. People do not like stillness when they expect a reaction. I gave her more of it. I opened my door slowly and stepped out onto the pavement. Gravel crunched under my boots as I walked toward the stone pillar. The camera above followed. I could feel it. That smooth mechanical tilt. Predictable. I stopped just short of the keypad and placed my hand on the metal housing. Warm from the sun. Familiar edges. For screws on the faceplate. Tamper switch inside the upper right corner. I had installed that switch myself. If the panel was opened without proper authorization, the system logged it. Timestamp. User ID. Everything. My phone buzzed again. 2 short pulses this time. Another notification. Linda noticed the movement in my pocket. Step away from the equipment, she said, sharper now. Not sweet anymore. The tone had changed. Good. That meant she felt something shifting. I took one step back. Not because she told me to. Because I had already seen what I needed. The scratch. The lag. The new guard. The sudden revocation. All of it pointed to one thing. Someone had accessed the system without going through me. And they had done it wrong. I pulled my phone out slowly and turned the screen toward myself. The notification banner sat at the top. System alert. Unauthorized access attempt detected. Logged 12 minutes ago. Right when my card stopped working. I locked the screen before anyone else could read it and slipped the phone back into my pocket. Linda was watching closely now. Waiting for me to argue. To shout. To lose control. Instead, I looked past her at the long line of cars trapped outside the gate. Residents. Deliveries. Contractors. All stuck because one person wanted to prove a point. This was no longer about a fine. This was about control over the only access point into a 200-home community. And right now, that control was sitting on a broken foundation. I took a slow breath, tasting the dry heat in the air, and met Linda's eyes again. She still thought she was in charge. She still thought the system answered to her. That was about to change. The air shifted the moment I stopped reacting. No shouting. No arguing. Just silence sitting heavy at the gate. People started noticing. A man in a pickup rolled down his window and leaned out. "What is going on?" he called. No one answered him. Not even Linda. She was watching me too closely now, like she was trying to read something she did not understand. I took one step back from the pillar and let my hand fall to my side. Calm. Controlled. The way I always worked when something broke in the field. Because this was broken. Not just the access. The whole system. I glanced up at the camera again. Slight delay. Still there. That meant the controller was running on fallback timing. Which meant someone had pushed a change without syncing the main board. That was not a guess. That was fact. And it came with consequences they had not even considered yet. The guard cleared his throat. "Sir. I am going to need you to move your vehicle." His voice was tighter now. Less confident. He could feel it too. Something was off. I nodded once. Then I did not move. Another horn sounded behind me. Longer this time. A woman stepped out of an SUV and walked toward the gate, shielding her eyes from the sun. "I have kids in the car," she said, frustration cutting through her voice. "Why is the gate not moving?" Linda finally turned toward her, smile snapping back into place. "Temporary access issue," she said smoothly. "We are handling it." Temporary. That word hung in the air. I almost smiled. Because nothing about what they had done was temporary. I slipped my phone out again, slower this time. No rush. The screen lit up under my thumb. I did not open the alert. I went straight to the app. Secure login. Fingerprint. Access granted. The back-end interface loaded in less than a second. Clean layout. My layout. I had built this system from scratch for Willow Creek Estates. Every camera, every sensor, every relay tied back to this panel. And right there at the top of the screen was the problem. Admin override active. User, board access. That alone was wrong. The board never had direct admin rights. I never gave them that. They were supposed to go through a management layer. Controlled. Logged. Limited. Someone had bypassed that. And when people bypass systems, they leave fingerprints. I tapped the access log. The list scrolled fast. Time stamps. Entry points. Failed attempts. Then I saw it. 12 minutes ago. Manual override. External login. No secondary authentication. That was not just a mistake. That was a hole. A big one. I locked the screen again before anyone could see it and slipped the phone back into my pocket. Linda was still talking to the woman by the SUV, explaining rules that did not matter anymore. Because the gate behind her gave a soft click. Not open. Not fully engaged. Just a partial release. Barely audible. But I heard it. My eyes moved to the motor housing behind the hedge. The indicator light flickered once. Yellow. That should never happen during standby. That meant the system was trying to reconcile conflicting commands. I felt it then. The exact moment everything shifted from inconvenience to failure. I looked at Linda again. Really looked this time. She had no idea what she had triggered. No idea how fragile this setup was when forced outside its design. And no idea that the one person who could stabilize it was standing on the wrong side of her gate. I stepped closer to the curb, giving the camera a clear angle of my face. Letting the system see me. Recognize me. Waiting. Because if the override failed the way I knew it would, this entire entrance was about to lock down in a way no one here could fix. The gate motor clicked again, louder this time, followed by a low grinding hum that did not sound right. The steel arm jerked halfway up, then froze midair like it had second thoughts. Every head turned at once. Conversation stopped. Even Linda went quiet. That was escalation number 1. The system was no longer following clean commands. It was hesitating. And hesitation in a control system always means conflict. I watched the indicator light behind the hedge flicker again. Yellow, then red, then back to yellow. That sequence should never happen. Not in standby. Not in manual override. Not in anything I designed. The guard stepped out of the booth now, keys jangling against his belt. Is it supposed to do that? He asked, not to me, not to Linda, just to the air. No one answered him. Because no one here actually knew. Linda recovered first. She straightened her posture and stepped out of the golf cart, heels clicking sharply against the pavement. It is a minor glitch, she said, louder now, projecting confidence for the crowd that had formed. The system is updating. Updating. That was escalation number 2. Because there was no update scheduled. I would have known. The woman from the SUV crossed her arms and looked straight at Linda. Then why can no one get in? She asked. That question landed harder than the horns. The line of cars had doubled. Engines idled. Heat built. A delivery driver wiped sweat off his neck and leaned against his van, watching like this was turning into something worth staying for. I took one step closer to the pillar again, slow enough not to trigger another warning. From Linda. My eyes stayed on the keypad. The backlight flickered once. Barely visible. But it was there. Another sign of instability. The system was trying to process 2 authorities at once. Mine. And whatever Linda's board had forced into it. That never ends clean. I felt my phone buzz again. Longer this time. Not just an alert. A system response. I did not reach for it immediately. Timing mattered now. Every second this dragged out, the pressure built on the wrong side of that gate. And pressure changes behavior. Linda turned back toward me, irritation breaking through her polished tone. You need to leave the entrance, she said. Not sweet anymore. Not controlled. This was command voice now. I met her eyes and said nothing. Just stood there. That silence spread again. People started shifting. Whispering. Someone behind me muttered, he lives here, right? Another voice answered, yeah, I have seen his truck. The crowd was recalibrating. Not fully against her yet. But no longer fully with her either. The guard looked between us like he was trying to decide who actually had authority. That hesitation was the crack. The gate made a sharp beep. Not the usual denial tone. A higher pitch. System alert. The arm twitched again, then dropped an inch, then rose back to the same stuck position. That was not just a glitch anymore. That was a lock conflict. If it tripped the fail-safe, the entire system would shut down. Full lockdown. No entry. No exit. Not even for emergency vehicles until it reset. I finally pulled my phone out and glanced at the screen. The message was clear. Control node conflict detected. Manual intervention required. I locked the screen again before anyone could read it and slid it back into my pocket. Linda took a step closer to me now. Too close. Fix this, she said under her breath, the first real crack in her voice. There it was. Not authority. Not control. Just a demand. And she had no idea what she was actually asking for. I looked past her at the gate arm hanging frozen above the road, at the cars trapped on both sides, at the system fighting itself in real time. This was no longer about locking me out. This was about a system that could shut down an entire neighborhood if pushed one step further. And right now, it was already halfway there. The word fix hung in the air between us, heavy and sharp. I did not answer her right away. Instead, I looked past her shoulder at the gate, arms still frozen above the road, stuck between open and closed like it could not decide which side it belonged to. That was the third escalation. The system had crossed from conflict into instability. And once it crossed that line, it did not correct itself. It escalated. I let a few seconds pass. Long enough for the silence to stretch. Long enough for the people watching to feel it. Linda shifted her weight. Her confidence was thinning now. "Well," she said, louder this time. "You designed this. Fix it." There it was again. Not a request. Not even an order anymore. Just pressure. I finally looked at her and spoke, calm and steady. "You forced an admin override without syncing the control node." I kept my voice low, but the words carried. A few people leaned in. Linda blinked once. That was all. But it was enough. She did not understand what I had just said. And worse, she knew she did not understand. "We followed procedure," she snapped, recovering quickly. But her tone had shifted. Defensive now. I nodded slowly. "No," I said. "You skipped it." Another beep cut through the air. Sharper. More urgent. The keypad screen flickered, then went dark for half a second before coming back on. That was new. That was bad. The guard stepped back toward the booth, uncertainty written all over his face. "Ma'am, I think we should call." "No," Linda cut him off, "too fast. Too loud." That interruption landed harder than anything else. People noticed. The woman from the SUV shook her head and walked back toward her car, muttering under her breath. The delivery driver pulled out his phone and started recording. Pressure was building now. Not just on the system. On her. I reached into my pocket and pulled out my phone again. This time, I did not hide it. I let the screen light up in plain view, angled just enough that Linda could see I was not guessing. I opened the interface again. Clean. Precise. Except for one section flashing at the top. Failsafe threshold approaching. I did not show her that part. Not yet. Timing still mattered. "If that threshold trips," I said, still calm, still even, "this gate locks completely." I let that sit for a second. Then I added, "both directions." That landed. Hard. A man behind me lowered his window again. "You mean nobody gets in or out?" he asked. I did not turn to him. I kept my eyes on Linda. "Correct," I said. Short. Clear. Final. The weight of that answer spread fast. You could feel it move through the crowd. People started checking their watches. Looking at their phones. Calculating. School pickups. Deliveries. Work calls. Everything tied to this one entrance. Linda's jaw tightened. She glanced at the gate, then back at me. For the first time since she arrived, she looked unsure. "Then stop it," she said. Quieter now. That was the shift. Authority had slipped into dependence. I took a slow breath and looked back at the motor housing, listening to the uneven hum coming from inside. The system was still trying to reconcile two commands that could not exist together. That tension would snap soon. And when it did, the reset would not be gentle. It would shut everything down. Hard. I stepped closer to Linda, just enough that my voice did not need to carry anymore. "You locked out the only admin who can stabilize it," I said. No anger. No edge. Just fact. Her eyes widened slightly. Not fear yet. But realization. The first piece of it. The gate beeped again. Louder. Longer. And this time, the arm dropped another inch. The arm dropped another inch and stopped with a dull metallic thud that echoed across the entrance. The sound was wrong. Not clean. Not controlled. It sounded like something was forcing movement against resistance. The hum from the motor deepened, uneven now, like it was struggling to decide which command to follow. That was the edge. The exact point where systems fail. Linda heard it too. Her head snapped toward the gate, then back to me. The confidence she had been wearing all morning was gone. Not cracked. Gone. Do something, she said, louder than before. Not calm. Not measured. Urgent. I did not move right away. I watched the indicator light. Again. Yellow flicker. Red flash. Back to yellow. That cycle was tightening. Shorter intervals. Faster conflict. The system was trying to resolve itself before it hit the fail-safe threshold. It would not succeed. It never does when two authorities fight for control. A truck on the inside lane rolled up to the gate from the other direction. The driver leaned out his window, confused. "Why is it stuck?" he called. Now both sides were blocked. Entry and exit. The pressure doubled in an instant. A man inside the gate stepped out of his car and walked toward the arm, looking up at it like he could will it to move. He reached out, then pulled his hand back when the motor jerked again. Smart. Even he could feel it was not stable. Linda turned in a slow circle, taking in the growing crowd, the stalled cars, the attention she could no longer control. Then she looked back at me. "You said you can stabilize it," she said, her voice lower now. Careful. Measured again, but not from confidence. From necessity. That was the shift I had been waiting for. I took my phone out again and held it at my side, not hiding it, not showing it. Neutral. "I can," I said. One sentence. No more. Her eyes dropped to the phone, then back to my face. She understood what that meant. Not fully. But enough. "Then do it," she said. I shook my head once. Small. Controlled. Not like this. That landed harder than anything else I had said. A few people behind me started murmuring. The delivery driver lowered his phone slightly, listening closer now. Linda stepped closer, lowering her voice. "What do you want?" she asked. There it was. Not authority. Not command. Negotiation. I let a second pass. Then another. The gate beeped again. Longer this time. The arm twitched and dropped another fraction of an inch. The system was seconds away from crossing the threshold. I glanced down at my phone and unlocked it. The warning banner pulsed at the top of the screen. Failsafe imminent. I tilted the screen just enough so she could see the color. Not the details. Just the urgency. Her breath caught. Subtle. But there. "If that trips," I said quietly, "this entire system locks down for a full reset cycle." I let that settle. Then I added, "No manual override. No remote access. 30 minutes minimum." That was conservative. In reality, it could take longer depending on how deep the conflict ran. But she did not need that detail. The number alone was enough. 30 minutes of a sealed gate in both directions. Emergency services delayed. Residents trapped. Deliveries stalled. Liability spreading in every direction. Linda's hand tightened around her folder. The edges bent slightly under her grip. She looked back at the gate, then at the line of cars, then at the people watching her lose control of the one thing she had tried to dominate. I watched her process it. The cost. The optics. The risk. All of it hitting at once. Then she looked at me again, and this time there was no performance left. Just a simple, direct question. What do you need? The motor let out a sharp, strained whine. The arm dropped again, slower now, like gravity was starting to win. I glanced at the timer on my screen. Seconds left before the threshold. And I realized something else in that moment. Even if I fixed it, nothing about this situation would go back to normal. The question hung there for half a second before the system answered it for her. A sharp, continuous tone cut through the air. Not a beep. Not a warning. A full alert. The keypad screen went black. The indicator light snapped from yellow to solid red. The gate arm dropped another inch and stopped dead, locked in place like it had hit an invisible wall. That was it. Threshold crossed. The system had made its decision. Full conflict. Full lockdown sequence engaged. A ripple moved through the crowd. Not loud. Not chaotic. Just a quiet shift as people realized this was no longer temporary. The man inside the gate stepped back from the arm completely. The delivery driver lowered his phone and let out a low whistle. That does not look good, he said. No one disagreed. Linda turned back to me fast, the question still on her face but now mixed with something else. Urgency. Real urgency. You said you could stop this, she said. I nodded once. I said I could stabilize it, I corrected. Small difference. Big meaning. The motor gave one last strained whine and then went silent. No hum. No vibration. Just stillness. The kind that only happens when a system shuts itself down to prevent damage. The entire entrance froze with it. No movement. No sound except the distant idling of engines and the soft rustle of people shifting their weight. I glanced down at my phone. The screen updated automatically. Failsafe active. System locked. Reset cycle initiated. Estimated duration, 28 minutes. Faster than I expected. That meant the system had cut power to the conflicting relay before it burned out. Good design. My design. I let the screen dim and slipped the phone back into my pocket. No rush now. The damage was already done. Linda stared at the gate, then at me, then back at the gate again like it might suddenly fix itself if she looked hard enough. It did not. What just happened? She asked. Her voice was quieter now. Not controlled. Not polished. Just real. I took a slow breath and looked at the locked arm, the dark screen, the red light holding steady above it. The system protected itself, I said. Simple. Clear. From you. That landed. Not loud. Not dramatic. Just enough. A few people behind me shifted again. One of them let out a short laugh, quickly covered. The woman from the SUV crossed her arms tighter, watching Linda now instead of me. The focus had changed. Completely. Linda swallowed once and tried to recover. Then fix it, she said again, but the edge was gone. It sounded thinner now. Like she already knew the answer would not come as easy as she wanted. I shook my head slightly. It is already in reset, I said. Nothing moves until it finishes. I paused, then added, not even me. That mattered. Because it showed I was not the one holding the system hostage. The system was doing exactly what it was designed to do. Protect itself from bad commands. The guard stepped out of the booth again, looking at the dark screen like it had personally betrayed him. So nobody gets in or out, he asked. I glanced at him. Not for a while, I said. He exhaled slowly and ran a hand over the back of his neck. Even he understood what that meant now. Liability. Delays. Problems that would land on someone's desk very soon. Linda's grip tightened on her folder again. She looked at the line of cars stretching down the road, then at the ones trapped inside, then back at me. Her voice dropped lower this time. Careful. Measured. When it comes back online, she said, you will restore access. Not a question. Not quite a demand either. Something in between. I met her eyes and held them for a second. Then I shook my head once more. Slow. Deliberate. No, I said. One word. That was all it took. The silence that followed was heavier than anything that had come before. Because this time, it was not the system deciding what happened next. The word no settled into the air like a final lock clicking into place. No echo. No argument. Just wait. Linda stared at me, trying to process it, like she expected something else to follow. It did not. The gate stayed frozen. The red light held steady. The silence stretched again, but this time it felt different. Not tense. Not uncertain. Decided. A man behind me shifted his stance and said quietly, so what happens now? No one answered him. Not yet. Linda inhaled slowly, forcing her shoulders back, trying to rebuild the version of herself she had walked in with. You do not have a choice, she said, her voice returning to that polished tone, but thinner now, less certain. You are contracted by this community. I tilted my head slightly. I said. One word. Clean. Precise. Her expression tightened. You still are, she insisted. I shook my head once. Not after unauthorized admin override, I said. That voids the service agreement. I did not raise my voice. I did not need to. The words carried on their own. A few people behind me exchanged looks. The delivery driver leaned closer, listening. Linda's grip on the folder tightened again, the edges bending further. That is not how this works, she said. But she did not sound sure. Because she knew she had skipped steps. She knew she had forced control she did not actually have. And now the system had recorded it. I let a second pass. Then another. Then I reached into my pocket and pulled out my phone again. Slow. Deliberate. I unlocked it and turned the screen toward her. Just enough for her to see the top line. Access log. Timestamp. Unauthorized override. Her eyes locked onto it immediately. That was the proof. Not words. Not opinions. Data. She exhaled once, sharp and quiet. That was the moment she understood this was no longer something she could talk her way through. The crowd felt it too. You could see it in the way people shifted their attention. Not toward me anymore. Toward her. The guard stepped back again, creating distance without realizing it. Linda lowered her voice. What do you want? She asked. The same question as before. But now it meant something different. Not negotiation. Consequence. I slid the phone back into my pocket and looked at the locked gate again. Still red. Still silent. Still holding every car on both sides in place. You reversed the board action, I said. Restore my access. Remove the override. I paused, then added, publicly. That last word mattered. It landed harder than the rest. Linda's jaw tightened. That is not necessary, she said quickly. Too quickly. I did not respond. I just looked at her. Then at the crowd. Then back at her. She followed my gaze. Saw the same thing I did. Phones out. Eyes watching. Witnesses. This was no longer contained. This was not a quiet HOA decision anymore. This was a visible failure at the front gate of the entire community. And everyone here would remember how it got resolved. Or how it did not. The system gave a soft internal click. Not a full reset. Just a step in the cycle. The screen remained dark. The light remained red. Time was still ticking. Linda looked back at me, weighing it. Pride against pressure. Control against consequence. The numbers were not in her favor anymore. Not with the gate down. Not with the logs recorded. Not with the crowd watching. Her shoulders lowered slightly. Not defeat. Not yet. But close enough to see it coming. She turned toward the guard. "Get me the board on the phone," she said. The guard nodded quickly and disappeared into the booth. Linda turned back to me, her expression tight, controlled, but no longer certain. "If I do this," she said, carefully choosing each word, "you will restore the system." I held her gaze. For a second. Then I looked past her at the gate. At the red light. At the line of cars stretching down both sides of the road. And I realized something she still had not. Even if she reversed everything, even if she said the words out loud, even if she handed control back exactly the way it was before, the system would remember what she did. The guard came back out of the booth with the phone pressed tight to his ear, nodding quickly, repeating short answers, his eyes flicking between Linda and the frozen gate like he was caught in the middle of something way above his pay grade. The red light stayed solid. The arm did not move. The air felt heavier now, like everything at that entrance had settled into a new reality. Linda stood still for a moment, then stepped away from me, pacing once along the curb before stopping again. She was thinking fast now. Calculating. Not about rules anymore. About damage. The people watching. The delay. The questions that would come after this. The guard handed her the phone. She turned slightly away from the crowd, lowering her voice, but not enough. "We need to reverse it," she said. A pause. Then, sharper, "Now." Another pause. Her shoulders stiffened. "I do not care what was voted. It is causing a system failure." That word spread faster than anything else had. Failure. People heard it. You could see it in the way heads turned, in the way phones lifted higher. The delivery driver took a step closer again. The woman from the SUV stayed where she was, watching like she did not want to miss a second of it. Linda turned back toward me, phone still in her hand, and gave a small, tight nod. Not confident. Not proud. Just necessary. "They are reversing it," she said. I did not answer. I just watched the gate. Because words did not matter. The system would show me when it changed. A few seconds passed. Then 10. Then 15. The red light flickered once. Just once. Then held. That was the first sign. The back end was receiving new instructions. I pulled my phone out again and unlocked it. The interface loaded instantly. Admin override status changed. Pending removal. That was faster than I expected. Pressure works. I kept watching the log. A new entry appeared. Board access revoked. My access level still showed inactive. Not yet. One more step. The system gave a low internal click. The kind you only hear if you are listening for it. The keypad screen flashed back to life. Dim at first, then brighter. The red light shifted. Yellow. Not stable yet. But moving. The crowd leaned in without realizing it. Even Linda stepped closer to the gate, like proximity might give her some control back. Another click. Then another. The arm twitched. Rose half an inch. Stopped. The motor hummed again, but this time it sounded cleaner. Controlled. The conflict was clearing. I watched the log update again. Primary admin restored. That was it. The moment the system handed control back to the original authority. To me. I did not rush. I did not make a show of it. I stepped forward, close enough to the keypad that the camera could get a clear read. Then I lifted my phone and opened the control panel. One command. That was all it took. I pressed it. The motor engaged with a smooth, even sound. No strain. No hesitation. The arm lifted in one clean motion until it locked fully open. The red light disappeared. The system settled into normal operation like nothing had ever gone wrong. For a second, no one moved. Then the first car rolled forward. Slow at first. Then faster. One by one, vehicles passed through, engines picking up, conversations starting again, the pressure releasing in waves. The delivery driver let out a breath and climbed back into his van. The woman from the SUV shook her head once and walked back to her car. The guard stepped aside, clearing the lane without being told. Linda did not move. She stood near the curb, watching the gate operate the way it was supposed to, like she was seeing it for the first time. I lowered my phone and slipped it back into my pocket. Then I looked at her. She met my eyes, but this time there was no performance left at all. Just awareness. I nodded once. Not friendly. Not hostile. Just final. Then I turned and walked toward my truck, gravel crunching under my boots as I moved through the open lane she had tried to close. And behind me, the gate kept working exactly the way I designed it to.